Okay, so my last video was basically therapy should be happy. Happy should be therapeutic. I mean, what other do you need from therapy but for the person to be happy? Wouldn't that be fully therapied? Then he wouldn't need therapy. That's the idea. Therapy is not a lifestyle. It's not needed to live life. Therapy can't work if it goes on for too long in a life. At some point, it needs to be said. And if it is doing a justifiable reason for it not to be needed, the therapy must not continue. If it is shown, their argument is that it may have happened. Like it could have. There's reason because he did a drug or something referred to as a plant, or as we know it, the possibility. I don't even have to argue this because I could get away with it clearly. They would want me to take alcohol before herbal trees because I could get away with alcohol, thus making me an alcoholic, instead of just a person using a plant to heal for more reasons than that drink can do. To an extent. You can't explain the high felt from alcohol as a therapy, but happy is therapy. People are happy on alcohol, and it can be considered therapy. People can be forced to use their therapies against themselves, give up their lives because they had to use their therapies to heal themselves. But someone is telling them that their therapies, in their own minds, may think are hurting me, but I know for certain the whole reason I'm doing them is because my body needs it and feels it and is in present moment with it, maybe on a spiritual feeling, for an artistical focus. It can be existed. That self-expression is taking into more of an extent than it needs to be. It's not just for people who claim to make a profession from speaking. Everyone has a voice and it needs to be heard. For a president to say they get to speak on behalf of a country is not unity. You can't come together through the president or the prime minister alone. It's not that country's beliefs. It's one person's. And that's where we went wrong. That's when the dollar was made. To control, to put a number on a price of something that was here before us and existed from us taking care of it because we needed it alone and we took care of it before personal gain of what man could make but never knowed. Everything that isn't food or home is not needed. And if you're telling me that this pill is something that I should be feeling, I'm going to agree with you. I'm going to take half of the pink one with some Red Bull because it doesn't make me snooze. Because I got time to talk. I will take your pill because you know what? I want to feel it. But I don't want to be forced. You cannot give someone a diet for them. The amount that I have, I don't believe any human should be storing. It's not sanitary to go far beyond the unknown. There's no way you know everything about this chemical because the lists always go on. To think you have it all figured out and you are so, as I would put, bomb, with the slang reference known to the kids. That's what you think you are. You know what I mean. I didn't mean I was gonna blow up anything. I wanted you to blow up the fact that you guys are taking my life through music alone. But I wanted you to blow up the fact I would never want to put an air or a land in a bomb's presence. Because that's not how you make a home. I know that. I got carried away. It's easy to say I'm artistically articulate, and that's how I choose to speak for myself through song that I record. I have to record everything now because I am living in the moment. I am at this is the moment. Like I am feeling it. I'm talking so much my lips are dry. Just give me a moment. As I take your pill. The half one. That's all I'm feeling. I haven't needed this far. I'm thinking I'm at a moment where I'm peaking. I'm going to use this to get me a little bit farther. Because now, if I take this thing that boosts my mind to ultimate focus, it's like I'm getting a high off something I may have needed, but didn't, because I still made it here without hurting anyone. A little different, but now that I can use this moment to heighten my skills on top of everything I have before me, I will not lose this fight. That people can make up their own mind when it comes to things, and they can call it a therapy. Because in my mind, happy is therapy, and having a thought transgress to your own therapy is happy. Thank you, God bless, amen. I don't even need the pill, but how much farther could I take it? This shit, clonazepam, can stimulate the mind, but that's scary to me, because I know the side effects. But I've seen lists, and I didn't read what was on it, but they weren't long, and they were short, but you know what I mean. They were like short. They were short. I wanted them to be, okay? Here it goes. I'm not in it for the long haul. This the road I chose. I don't want them all at once, because I don't want to go. I'm in it for my one time, done it, and let go. All systems functional. We have the bond. We are all coming together. It's true, we have differences. But if we keep in mind, we are all victims either way. You cannot honestly say you would rather live as smart as we are today to not hurt anyone while living in peace. You get it for what you need. People will agree. Angry tempers will decline. We will be able to control the ones who don't, because more than you know will accept it. It's just a matter of going into it. But when you make it so simple that everyone wins equally, and we're not all jockeying for position in this life to be a little bit better than we need to be, because we'll never be better than the next man. Okay, it's enough. They win. We can forgive them just as much as they need us to forgive them. And we need to forgive them, and they need to forgive us. Because we got to do this for the world. We don't really need to forgive them. We could handle on our own. But unity only means one thing. And that, my life, is the one thing that won't be so simple. There's going to be differences when man doesn't get along. But we don't have to make it worse than what it needs to be. We can live on. There will be a drastic decline in crime if we all focus on having what we need. And the need arises to commit crime for something you need is now gone. For why would anyone do a crime if they didn't need to do it? That takes out selling drugs, hacking for money, hacking, stealing. That takes out so many crimes. We can't disregard that mistakes might be made when man has made a car when they didn't need such a thing. Now, do we put the mistake on the man who chose to drive that car because it was already here? Or do we choose to put the blame on the person who made the car and didn't know what they were getting into? Who knows what they're getting into when they make something like this, is destroying the air? Costs $2 to destroy the air, and people will do that. They'll kill themselves for $2 because they don't like the smell of a plant. That secondhand smoke is probably curing them and giving them what they need alone. That shit just smells good, but it's killing you. But people look for that in a home. But that's just me. You know what? What can I say? I keep the fan going, the window's open, it's all good. But sometimes people need to breathe, and that's not how you breathe. You don't do that and consider anything in that religion to help your breathing. That's the main focus. Before something smells good, it needs to help you breathe. Some people will form such a bond that they don't know. I knew I liked weed, but it made me a little paranoid. And I just thought, you know what? I need the weed because I feel like my releases my muscles, like it just. But the reason I'm paranoid is because I can't be caught with it, or it's just frowned upon by my family. That's what, as a kid, made me paranoid. So I just said, fuck it. I'm going to throw that paranoia out because it counterreacts why I'm paying $10 a gram for such healing that it is worthy for, even though it is a plant and you just get a little bit of it. People still pay what it is for what they need, even though they could plant it in the ground, because it's a seed and it doesn't cost $90 for a bag of seeds. But people will pay that because once they get the seed, you know what? It should cost a nickel. It's a seed. It came from a plant. It was grown. If the people knew what it was, they would grow it everywhere in the world. But they don't, because it would corrupt every industry in pharmaceutical need. It is that easy. God never intended it to be confused with having to figure something out. There's never going to be an ending point. We don't need to land on Mars. We need to focus on our Earth. God help us. I'm sorry if that seems like a curse word to some people, but that is just how I had to release my voice. And I'm saying self-expression needs to be found. It can come when you have nothing to do and you just think, I'm going to do it because they say it really helps. So I'm just going to try it. I'm not going to be good. I know I'm not going to be good. But if I think I'm not going to be good, then I'm not going to be good. So I'm going to think that I'm good and just give myself that for now. I'm going to go into it thinking that I'm good, even if I'm the only one around who is. Because you know what? You're going to sing it to them, and they're going to go either it sucks like you thought, or not everyone is going to say that. They're either going to say it's good, or they'll tell you what's wrong. And then you absorb as much as you can. And then you try again. I'm not saying it's going to be better, because you change something now, either for the better or the worse. And the more rocks you uncover, the better it goes. But it's all preference. So you never know. You know, like, you gotta write what you like. You obviously know what's gonna sound good or not. It's not like a science in that respect. One thing is right or one thing's wrong. But there's things that more people like and some people don't. Is that what's successful? More people liking it? Well, if money was involved, then yeah. But just as much can be felt from a song that no one is even gonna hear but the person who sang it to begin with. And it could mean the world to him, even if it didn't make it to anyone else. But it changed him inside. It's like he had a feeling that there was actually someone else there to be hearing it. And he's got it recorded, so yeah, sure, someone else could hear it, but will they hear it the same way? The way he thought? Because what do we know? If everyone thinks differently, and everyone knows something a different way, how can one man debate what is right from wrong? If there is facts that can contradict at any moment, forcing us to need a judge to delay everything. And to be only given from one man's focus, who has a book in front of him, which he has to follow. And so much work is putting in to one man's honest mistake. As much as an accident is a car, a man selling drugs is a way to live. Now, what's to say for the DUIs? Here's what I say. Man, in this day and age, with life so obviously corrupted, for every man to be on such different levels of spectrum, you don't see the people who have everything they need in life. And dare I say it, but what I mean by that is they have more of a financial blessing. When people have more of a head start, they generally keep that up. It's hard for them to lose it, and they stay at the top. But for a man to come from where he is and make some sort of a jump to the next level, isn't that not considered better than some man who is said to be better than them all? But then again, the world was never meant to have competition. But I guarantee you, the person at the lowest level can only be the best because he has been given that opportunity. So the people at the top can't really say that they're the best because they started at the finish line. That's the end. Respect.